All right, guys, Honda CRX coilover install requested by my coworker or ex-coworker from O'Reilly's, Pedro. You better watch this, Pedro. Did coilover install on this. Basically adjusted ride height and everything too. Show you how to do it. E.g. coilovers on a CRX, super easy install, relatively. But let's get to it.
Light as a feather when I'm floating through, reading through the daily news, measuring the hurt within the golden rule. Centimeters of ether, I'm heating the speaker. Motivational teacher with words that burn people. Singing the headlines, line with discord. It's either genocide or the planet in uproar. Never good. The rules in paradise are never nice. The best laid plans of mice and men are never right. I'm just a vagabond with flowers for Algernon, an average Joe who knows what the fuck is going on. It's the hope of my thoughts that I travel upon, fly like an arrow of God until I'm gone.
So Nick here, basically he replaced the whole front suspension. Got the Godspeed, what is this, the Max? Monomaxx with a double X. This is actually for a EG Civic like that, but I guess it worked. So what'd you have to do to change this out, Nick?
So since this is like an EF ED chassis, the only things that you really need to do to make it fit in the front is to get EG forks, because the strut tubes are a little bit thicker on the wall diameter, but in the rear it's all the same setup unless you have an 88. If you have an 88, you have the eyelet shock, which actually goes in like a Type R, but all the other ones are the same. So you can run EG in the rear, no problem.
Yeah, so EF and CRX should work for what, 89 up?
89 up, yeah, as long as you have the standard lower control arm set up in the rear, it'll work
should
out.
be all the same. So front forks basically on EG, it bolted right up into the control arm. So this is right here is my EG right here. Basically you just take that fork. Let me show you guys real quick. Crappy lighting, is kind of dark, but you can see the fork that connects to the coilover right there to the lower control arm. All you need is to buy that fork right there and mount it up to your new coilovers, and apparently it fits right up into the CRX. So this one's already installed, so let me get a light here. I'll show you guys how to do it. Hey, what happened to that light thing? Let me see that light thing real quick. So let's see. I'll show how to do it on the EG. So on this one, same setup. We have fork here, and it's bolted up. Damn, this light. Bolted up for a 14 millimeter right there. So you undo 14 millimeter down here. I believe that's a 17 millimeter. The fork slides right down from the front control arm. Give you guys a better position right here. You see the whole coilover right there. And then right there, right after when the fork is down, just do the top hats up top. I'll show you guys on the CRX down there. And if you still can't get it out, like if you're trying to get your stock strut out, you can remove this lower control arm right here, bolt it to the frame down there by a 17 right down there, and then there should be one right here. Let me see down there. Well, this one's actually connected to a ball joint. Let me show you guys. There's a better view. So this one's connected to a ball joint down here. So if you really want to take out that ball joint, you'd have to smack it upwards with the cotter pin and bolt down here. But it should be relatively easy just to undo it from there, and it should slide down to give you enough leverage to get that strut off. Same thing with coilover, it's a little easier since it's already a short. But if you get stock struts, it might be a little harder, so you might have to remove this arm or the upper control arm, whichever is easier for you. Yeah, it's pretty simple up front. You'll have 2 bolts up top. Hey, what size are these bolts, Nick?
Which one?
For the top of the strut in the front, do you remember? It's like 14, huh?
Yeah, there's 14s, and the other ones that were on there for the upper arms are 17.
Yeah, 17s. So these are 14s. That's all you gotta do, take it out. So Nick went ahead and he did like whole upper control arm setup. I don't know if you guys could see it. There it is. You could barely see it. Oh, that thing looks good right there. Skunk 2 control arm with adjustable, what is it? Top hat, whatever it's called.
Adjustable ball joint.
Adjustable ball joint. So you get some camber play on it.
Camber and toe adjustment on the top.
All right. So down here. So what's the best way to do it back here?
So best way to actually do it in the rear is pretty easy. If you remove it from the top first.
So top first 2 bolts should be 14s also, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta do that from the inside. Let me show them right here. So on the CRX, this one has a strut. What is it? Strut bar. I can't see it from here, but
yeah, it's pretty hard to see. It's kind of more of a feel thing.
Get up in your way right here. So basically, you guys see that hole right there. Basically pop it out, you'll have space for the 2 bolts on the top of the strut. Easy to take out. You could even do that last if you wanted to. Nick, you want to show them what you did in the bottom? Easiest way?
Yeah, sure. So here on the bottom, if you guys can see here, let me see that light real quick. So easiest thing to do on the bottom is first, after you loosen the top, you're gonna want to loosen this bolt here, and it's for the actual the strut itself. And once you loosen that, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna get a little tension, but don't worry, you can just loosen it out, pull it out all the way, and then you'll have your strut loose. And then after that, you can go up to the top on the outside of it. And then for me, the easiest thing to do was, if you look over here, you can see right here, and then on this side right here, there's 2 bolts here for the upper arm. You can loosen those, pull them out, that'll allow the top of the arm to pivot out. And then you can go back here, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. For sure. Go back here, and you can see this bolt here is for the sway bar end link, and you just loosen that up, allowing it to get free from the other side, and this whole thing can just pivot up and down. Right now I've already got the new one up in there, so but that's basically the easiest way to do it, and it probably only took me like 5 minutes just to undo all that stuff. And
so you basically did it from the camber arm right there, 2 bolts out, right?
Yep, those 2.
Probably if you had stock struts still, it'd be best to take the lower control arm out from the bottom, isn't it? Because it's a longer strut.
Maybe, not necessarily. I mean,
if you can squeeze your way out.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to pivot this a little bit no matter what, even if you remove it, just because of the tension that's on there from the actual whole arm setup. But the rear, the only problem that you usually have if you have the sway bar still connected is getting that bottom part of the lower control arm to line up through the bottom and on the other side where it's threaded. It's just a little difficult to feed the bolt through.
We see that from the back.
Yeah, right next to where the bolt for the strut is, you have the bolt here for the lower control arm.
So you have that outer one is for the control arm right there?
Yeah, this one's for the control arm to the whole knuckle setup.
Knuckle.
And you can take that out, and that'll allow it to pivot, and this whole arm will swing down. But the problem I had with this side when I did that was when I had the sway bar end link connected still, there was too much tension, and it was misaligned between the 2 sides of the holes.
Yeah.
So that's why I went and I did the upper arm on the other side. But
to make it easier.
Yeah, this side was easy as long as you disconnected the sway bar end link, and it went in pretty nice.
So if you did have to take that lower control arm out because you couldn't get out from up top, it'd be the outer bolt. And you could probably just loosen it just a little bit on the chassis to swing it down, no?
If you need to, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bolt for the strut right there. It's not too bad, it's pretty easy back here.
Yeah.
But if you have to use that jack right there to lift it up, get leverage, get a bolt through.
Which is what we're doing right now, just feeding the bolts through for the strut right now, and after that it's pretty much done.
All right, so we're gonna get this thing settled in. Once it's settled in, we'll go ahead and adjust the coilover. Show you guys how to adjust it. The front's sitting a little higher than with the lowering springs that was previously on there. These are. Hey, what kind of shocks are these, Nick? Topico Blues with iBox springs. Pretty good, but yeah, it's a little kind of blown out basically. So with the Godspeed Monomaxx, got a good deal on them. So the front could probably use a little bit of adjustment. Once we're done, we'll go ahead and show you guys. Hey, what spring rates do these come with, Nick?
So this is the EG setup. It comes with a 12 front and a 10 rear, and it actually says it somewhere over here.
Okay, so you got 12K in the front spring rate and 10K in the rear?
Yeah, it says it right here.
Pretty damn aggressive right there. Wait, no, it does say over here.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay, yeah, 12 and 10. Then they wrote it on there. And these are what they originally come with, like the default springs.
Yeah,
spring
it's
rate?
standard setup. For actually, I think most of the Hondas that for this coilover line that they have.
That's pretty aggressive. The RSX has basically the same coilovers. These are a little better. Do you know what brand the RSX is?
That's Mono RS.
Mono RS.
This is the mid-grade mono. This is the top grade mono, and then the lower line is Mono SS.
Okay, so you got Mono SS, Mono RS, and then Mono Max.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is probably what best you can do with Godspeeds.
Yeah, for a street setup, yeah, and then they got full track stuff.
Nice. So on this RSX, it rides pretty good. I mean, the front spring rate was a little soft, but I don't know the spring rate on this one. It was on another RSX we had. We slapped them on. But pretty excited to see how this one rides with 12K, 10K. It's pretty aggressive. Let's see, basically dropped it, and it barely even lowered itself. All right. So what are you doing right now, Nick?
I'm adjusting spring preload because the spring was pretty loose in here. And I'm going hand tight until I can't really turn it very much, just very easily. And then I'm going to go about a quarter turn.
Basically stiffening the preload right now. What collar did you use to do that?
So that's going to be the upper collar that adjusts all of the spring preload. And
so basically you loosen it in the bottom collar first, right?
yeah, this bottom collar here. And since it just came out of the box, it was a little loose for adjustment anyways. So yeah, the spring was a little loose. So we just turned it up a little bit, and that's, you know, based on your coilover setup, you're gonna see like which way you turn it, like it will unthread or whatever.
So that way that you were going was to loosen it, right? So basically drops the spring down.
Yeah, now I'm going up by going.
Basically it's putting more load into the spring, right?
Yeah, by tightening it up towards the top.
So you time that, spin that bottom collar, you mess with spring rate. Usually you leave this if you're not sure what you're doing. It's usually preloaded already. This one was a little loose, but
yeah, just out of the box kind of deal.
anyways, gotta get this TPS on this EG here. We went to check out an Integra earlier. And I guess the guy said that the TPS was like messing up in the car, so I took it off my EG. Where is it? It's inside this little weed bag right here. Get my socket. And where the hell do I have the socket though? There it is. This one used a 8mm. Get my stuff. So yeah, that Integra had a TPS problem, the guy said, and we switched it out, and then it still had the code, so kind of passed up on that that Integra for now. I gotta go ahead and put this TPS back on this thing. Get the light bar up on the hood. So that Integra was pretty clean. We're gonna drive way up the mountains for it. This TPS that apparently works from 88 to 2001 Integra. It's all the same. Weird, but yeah, we confirmed that with O'Reilly's. Basically, this thing just goes right down like that. Get this sucker in here. 8 mils. Get this thing. Once I get this thing, I got Hawk brake pads for it. Go ahead and put it on the channel after that. I'll get this shit on later. But after we finish this one, you guys will see. What's up, guys? So right now we're gonna do dampening adjustment. Car's all back down on off the jack stands. So it's adjusting this dampener here. It says right here soft and hard. So I set it all the way down to soft So for some reason it was like at 30, basically maxed out. This is a 30 way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12. So we're gonna do 12 up front. I already did the other side. In the rear, what you gonna do in the rear, Nick? Should we do like 10 or 14?
I think, I mean, usually I like a little softer, but I might try just 10.
Probably 10 in the back. So basically same thing as the front. You have the little knob up here. It tells you soft or hard, whichever you want to go. You have 32 ways or 30 way of dampening, whichever one your coilovers come with. All right, so we got the whole front jacked up again. Basically redid the whole front suspension on this thing. Did upper control arm, coilovers. What else we do? New axles.
Tie rod.
Tie rod on the side.
Lower ball
Lower ball
joint.
joint. Where's that at?
Yeah. Also did the radius rod bushing. They probably can't see it.
Let me get under there. Ball joint right there. That one has to be pressed out. So basically use the sledgehammer and ball joint press. Alright, so what are we doing to the coilovers here?
Alright, so what we're about to do is we're about to adjust the ride height on this. First thing we did was we went in, we loosened this locking collar. So you just break it loose and then you slide it up. Usually the easiest thing to do is slide it up or loosen it up about the height that you want to go. And then kind of rotate the coil over a body up to where you're adjusting to.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this this fork here so we can turn the shock body.
So that 14 millimeter
Yeah.
fork bolt right there
On the side, yeah, right here.
There it is. That way you get the bottom of the coilover to spin. So usually if you want to lower the car, you take that collar and you bring it up to the height. So basically that's how much you're gonna lower it. But if you're gonna raise it, this collar to be in the bottom, and you would spin the bottom one down to bring it up. So usually the easiest way to adjust coilovers on most Hondas with the sport design right here is you loosen up the fork from the back. Go ahead and show them real quick, Nick.
Yeah, so we have a nut right here.
On the bottom.
Yeah, there's a nut right here. And then on the other side there's also the actual bolt that goes through. This side might be able to, we might be able to get it with the impact and just pull it all the way out. It's usually what it's.
So basically you take the fork out, it's 14 up top and then 17 in the bottom, right?
Yep.
So fork slides down, you can spin that, basically that collar for your coilover as much as you want. It's a lot easier that way. Yeah. Quicker too. Basically undid the bolt. Go ahead and show them on the bolt on the side that you just undid.
We'll just loosen this here. Yep. And that loosens the whole shock body, so you can see we're going to be able to turn it now. We can rotate it. And,
so the fork basically unbolts from the coilover. Show them on the coilover.
Yeah, so it unbolts from the back here.
So the whole fork is out right now.
Yeah.
That way you can just spin your coilover freely, however you want.
Yeah, and as you can see, we're here spinning it. We're gonna go ahead and lower it, so you actually want to go upwards. And actually, right here, I wanted to bring it up. You can probably bring it up.
It's pretty high.
Yeah. So we're lowering it, so
basically a whole inch up right there.
Get it up to the locking collar. And then we're just gonna lock it in place.
Make sure you lock that upper collar too, it's loose. Just lock it in place.
And we'll get this all
Get the fork back up. Slides basically right in like that. Easy. Tightened up 14 millimeter in the back of it. Alright, so we're gonna move all the cars right now. Move this loud ass S2000. Sounds like someone's fucking sharding here. You wanna get this thing right here? Blow everyone's eardrums out right now.
Oh yeah, let's get a good
Personal car right here, you know. This weekend. It's a piece of shit.
reminder. Time for a facial.
Diarrhea!
I haven't started this in like 2 days. That dust, my goodness. I'm recording.
Rolling out, bro.
Yeah, get me on the rear, dude.
Alright. See this thing. Hey, Crenshaw, what you doing? This thing is pretty damn low. I know you guys can probably barely see it. Tell Ant to go move his Beamer real quick. Move all these cars that annoy our neighbors. You want to test drive it first, or?
Yeah, I'll take it for a little rundown.
Well, let's do a quick one before we move all the cars back inside. All right, so we took it out on first test drive. Didn't record that because first time's always the scariest. But what happened here, Nick?
So I was feeling some rattling, and I had totally thought that these upper ball joints on these skunk tube control arms were locked in, but they weren't. And it turns out they were just sliding around back and forth, so we're tightening them down right now. I just maxed out camber for this.
Show you guys this. So these upper control arms, they have what, camber adjustments on them, right?
Yes, camber and toe from up top, and then you can slide these back and forth. They have these little Allen bolts that thread in up from the bottom, and that's what I'm tightening down right now.
Yeah, so basically we were driving it and the wheel was able to tilt back and forth. Let's see if this. Think it does the same with this side, or is it just the other side?
I could definitely feel it more on this side.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my god. Dude. Let me show you guys this. I don't know if you can see it, but you see this is the wheel right here. I pull it back out. Pretty wild. So it's just rattling around. Hopefully that fixes the problem. It's like a weird vibration on the car. But go ahead and take out on the second one right now and show you guys what's up. Alright, so the upper arms are all bolted down right. We'll go on our second test run right now. Alright, it's a little dark, so you guys are just gonna get some voice feedback experience right here. It feels a lot better already. It's just still vibrating on that side, huh? It's kind of weird. It's almost like the axle or something, dude. It's like really faint.
Not really.
Oh yeah.
It's kicking me.
For sure. You can feel it now. It's only when you're rolling even in neutral, huh?
Huh?
Even in neutral you can kind of feel it, huh? Weird, it almost feels like, or sounds like a freaking flat tire, dude. It's not as stiff as I thought it'd be.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Really good, actually.
Yeah.
It's not really that bouncy.
No, I just need just dampening to match.
Yeah.
It's a little soft.
Yeah, that vibration's weird though.
Feels like it's right under me.
Yeah. weird vibration coming from the front. It's not the coilover, it's probably something with the front end parts that we did. Since we did control arms, ball joints, axles and stuff. Gonna figure it out right now. Alright, so we think we may have found the problem right here. So one of the wheels was spinning, like really weird, kind of wobbly. We found this flat spot right here. So you see it's flat and the rest of the tire has good tread. So go ahead and throw the wheels from the EG on the CRX, some RPF ones. And hopefully vibration goes away. So do test drive number 3 on this thing. This thing looks real good with it. Alright, test run number 3 with the RPF ones. It's good. This guy barking again. Every time we move the car, I don't know why he starts barking. I mean, it's like basically our house alarm right here, huh? When we get jacked. It's our freaking wiper alarm. Call it the Crenshaw alarm. Do you feel it?
I think I feel the bumps of the road right now. It doesn't feel like it did before because it was like the.
Don't drop that da-da-da. Hey, don't drop that da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel now it feels way better. It's not doing it anymore. It's that tire. I don't even know how that tire got that flat spot.
For real. Probably couldn't tell that suspension from before. Now everything's a lot stiffer.
Yeah. Stay rolling nice.
Feels solid.
Now it feels.
Feels like it's ready for the track. Yeah, way smoother. Scoochie. Damn, so gotta get new tires or what? Or one tire?
One tire. Yeah, it's just cheaper right now just to get a tire.
How's the alignment?
It's wobbling a little bit.
Is it pulling pretty hard to one side though?
Not really. I mean, right now it's like just a slight wander to the left.
Every time you guys do like suspension work, it's usually gonna need some alignment. When you gonna plan on doing the alignment?
Pretty soon. Probably tomorrow.
Well, that was it. CRX Coilover Godspeed Monomaxx. Pretty good. You know, I actually do recommend these. They ride actually pretty damn good.